Yo, what's going on, guys? Today what I got for you is going to be a Garchomp Lucario deck. So if you guys do enjoy the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not subscribed. So basically this list is going to be kind of a starting list, so that way you guys can pick it up, start testing it, making adjustments to it, and going forward from there. And I want to note that I don't like Puzzle of Time in this deck. I mean, I understand it's good, it can be very helpful, but for me personally, I just personally don't like it. But if you guys want to add it in, this list is very changeable, so you guys can fit that in there if you would like to. But without any further ado, let's get into the list. Alright, so to start things off, we're going to be taking a look at the main attacker, which is going to be Garchomp. It has Quick Dive 50 to one of your opponent's Pokemon for a DCE. And then the attack you're going to be doing majority of the time is going to be Royal Blaze. So it does 100, and if you played Cynthia from your hand during this turn, this attack does 100 more damage. That's going to go up to 200 damage. And the cool thing about this Pokemon, it does have free retreat. And you're wondering about that attack, like how can I get Cynthia to my hand every single turn? Well, you have Lucario, and it has pre-something aura. I'm just going to call it P-aura. Once during your turn before you attack, if you have Garchomp in play, you may search your deck for a card and put it in your hand. So yeah, pretty much with this, what you're going to be doing, if you don't already have it in hand, is you're going to be using Lucario's ability to search out maybe a Cynthia or searching out a DC or something like that. Just adding it to your hand, just whatever card you might need in your current situation, and then you just hit for 200 or 230 if you have a choice bin. So the cool thing about these is the Gible has Ascension, which allows you to evolve straight into Gabite, and then Gabite has Ascension also that allows you to search Garchomp and evolve into that. So if you're having a kind of slow start, then go from there using Ascension. But also Riolu does have Detect, Flip a Coin if it has prevent all effects of attacks including damage done to this Pokemon during your next turn. These Pokemon are in here to help you out if you're just really in a tight bind. And an interesting tech that I actually added in here, and I'm going to talk about this in a second, is going to be Lycanroc. So before I pull that up, I just want to note here that this deck can really only utilize Cynthia every turn, so Guzma is not really an option. You're going to be using Guzma for 100 to 130 damage, which sounds really good, but you're not going to be able to one-shot, which is what this deck is really capable of doing. It's just one-shotting over and over and over. And the majority of the time, you're going to be wanting to play Cynthia every single turn. So we run one Guzma in this deck, as you see right here. And so I decided to add a 1-1 Lycanroc. Now, Lycanroc is in here for the Bloodthirsty Eyes, but it's also a really, really strong attacker. But Bloodthirsty Eyes pretty much gives you a Lysander type ability whenever you evolve Rockruff into Lycanroc. You can select one of your opponent's Pokemon on their bench and bring it up into the active spot. So you can use Lycanroc's Bloodthirsty Eyes to bring it up, and then you can use your precognitive aura thingy to grab a Cynthia or whatever, play the Cynthia, and then just kind of do 200. And realistically, whenever I do attack with this Pokemon, I use Dangerous Rogue GX, just your GX attack, 50 for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. You guys would be surprised how much damage you can pull off with that. And then rounding out the deck, we have Tapu Lele GX, which has Energy Drive, 20 for each energy attached to both defending Pokemon. And of course, Wonder Tag. Whenever you play this down, you can search your deck for a supporter card and add it to your hand, which majority of the time can help you set up for Bridget. And of course, it can allow you to grab Cynthia, maybe if they just knocked out your Lucario or something. Alright, so for the supporters, I kind of briefly went over these. For Cynthia, you don't want any more than 4, you don't want any less than 4. 4 is the key number, so that way you can kind of keep using it over and over and over. 2 Bridget to help you set up. We've got 3 Sycamore, because even though Cynthia is kind of like the idea of the deck, having the Sycamore in here, just being that little supporter to help you out, it's really nice. And then we also have 2 N, just to have them in here for some extra support. 1 Guzma, kind of discuss why that's in here. And then we have 2 Palpad, one of the returning cards to the format from Ultra Prism. Shuffle 2 supporter cards from your discard pile into your deck. This is really, really good because it can allow you to shuffle into Cynthia and just kind of keep that train going. So that's why Palpad is so good in here. And it just really allows you to keep recycling supporters, or if maybe you have game, like they retreated, you weren't able to pull off a Cynthia or something like that, you know you have game for next turn, you got like a Lele in your hand or something like that, you can Palpad and shuffle in maybe a Guzma or something like that. Just whatever the situation might call for, Palpad is very, very helpful. And then we have 4 Rare Candy. This can allow you to skip right from Gible straight into Garchomp, which is really nice. You don't have to play it on the Gabite. We got 1 Field Blower in here just in case you want to get rid of some tools. I actually cut another Field Blower to throw in just a special charge, just because when I was playing this deck, I was like, I really want to make sure I have my DCs. Yes, that's where the Puzzles of Time can come in and help you out, but like I said, I'm just not a big fan of them in this deck. And then we have 2 rescue stretchers. That way you can shuffle in a Garchomp line, grab a Garchomp. You can shuffle in your Lucarios, just whatever, and just keep those Pokemon going. Then we have 3 choice band, just allow you to do a little extra damage. And then we have a choice band, or not a float stone, excuse me. Float stone is in here. Most of the time you can just kind of throw this on Lucario, or you can just throw it on something like that. You can do this, or you can do 2 escape rope. It doesn't really matter to you. Just really personal preference. I just opted for the float stones, so that way I have some stuff in here besides Garchomp that would have free retreat, or if they tried to pretty much Guzma stall or something like that, I just have the float stone in there. Then we have 4 Ultra Ball. Don't really need to go too much into detail on why those are in here. And then we're going to round the deck out with 7 Fighting Energy and 4 DCE. So yeah, that's the list, guys. The deck is really easy to play, honestly. You just set up the Garchomp and set up the Lucarios and make sure you keep streaming. Cynthia's every turn to do 200 to 230 damage. And the deck only gives up 1 prize, except for the Lycanroc and Tapu Lele. But for the most part, it only gives up 1 prize. And so you're giving up 1 prize and you're one-shotting those big GX Pokemon majority of the time. So this deck's actually pretty powerful. And oddly enough, this deck is really easy to kind of get the cards for, because of course they do come in the Mock Strike theme deck. So if you guys are worried about, like, you know, how do I get Cynthia, Garchomp, all that, you can literally go grab 2 theme decks. It would probably be cheaper just to get the cards individually online, but you know, go with me here. You can grab 2 of the theme decks, and then you got 4 Cynthia. You got pretty much everything you'll need, and then you can just kind of dig in your personal collection and add some stuff in here, and there you go. You have the deck. But I think for the most part, this is actually a pretty solid budget deck. I feel like you can make this deck pretty cheap because you'll get like energy and all kinds of stuff just from the theme deck itself. But overall, this deck's really strong. I think it's one of the best coming out of Ultra Prism, and I'm really excited to see exactly how it affects the format going forward. But if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not subscribed. And remember, guys, this is a starting list, so there are cards in here purposely that you're able to change. This list is very changeable, so yeah, if you did enjoy the video, you guys know what to do. Subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Take care. I love you, and I'll catch you in the next video.